ॐ श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादशङ्करं लोकशङ्करम् अज्ञानाञ्जाह्नवीतीर्थं विद्यातीर्थं विवेकिनां सर्वेषां सुखदं तीर्थं भारतीतीर्थमाश्रये विद्याविनयसम्पन्नं वीतरागं विवेकिनं वन्दे वेदान्ततत्त्वज्ञं विधुशेखरभारती. Dear friends, welcome to the 19th session of our discussions on PRABODHA SUDHAKARA. So, in the previous meeting, we have started looking at the Atma Siddhi Prakaranam, the chapter on the discussion about the attainment of the self or the Atman. That is, this chapter is discussing how to recognize the true nature of oneself, how to recognize the true nature of Atma. So it was mentioned right at the beginning of the chapter that one has to approach the Guru, because from the Guru alone, the Atma Jnanam can be gained, really speaking. In spite of the availability of Shastra, in spite of the availability of the Upanishads, in spite of having a bent of mind with oneself, which is uh, desiring to know the self, which is capable of knowing the self. Besides having all of this, these are important, of course, but besides having all of this, without the Guru's grace, without the teaching from the, the mouth of a live Guru, a person who is alive, who has known Brahman, who is well versed in teaching the Shastra, unless such a person is approached, the knowledge of the Atman cannot be gained. That was the message which was given. So the sadhaka, with the interest of knowing the Atman, has to approach the Guru and take his Upadesha. The Upadesha given by the Guru is obviously going to be in synchrony with the Shastra, with the Upanishad. So the Upanishads will be expounded by the Guru, and via this teaching, the sadhaka attains the knowledge. So this message is continuously and repeatedly given in the Upanishads. The Upanishads themselves say, Gurumeva Abhigachet ityadi. So one has to approach the Guru like that. And any number of stories appear in the Upanishad. So the various incidents which are recorded in the Upanishad in the form of a story, but embedded in the story is the teaching. But when we look at the story, we recognize that in every one of these, the sadhaka or the shishya is approaching the Guru, and only via the words of the Guru, the knowledge is gained by the sadhaka or the shishya. There is no story we find in the Upanishad where a sadhaka is there, he or she takes up a shastra by oneself and reads the shastra and becomes a brahmagyani. You don't find anywhere in the Upanishad where, without the help of the Guru, a person goes and meditates, let us say, sitting under the foot of a tree, sitting at the foot of a tree, he meditates, and by meditation alone, the knowledge is gained. In every one of the instances which are given in the Upanishads, we find that there is a Guru-Shishya relationship, and via this relationship alone, one gains the knowledge. So the importance of having a Guru can never be overstated, and it is via the Guru alone that the knowledge comes. What kind of a Guru? It has been mentioned before. Shrotriyam Brahmanishtam Guru, an Acharya, a Guru who is well versed in the Upanishad, who is well versed in the teaching of Vedanta, can teach the Vedanta to a fitting student, as well as someone who is established in the truth of Vedanta, in the truth of one's own Atman, oneself being established in it, he teaches. And when such a Guru is obtained by the Shishya, the knowledge is sure to happen. The knowledge is sure to happen. Such a Guru is capable of guiding. When you take Sharanagati with such a Guru and follow whatever he says in terms of living a disciplined life and understand what he is teaching, then knowledge of the self is sure to be gained. This is the message. In the last meeting, the last verse we saw was this verse number 89, which was telling a threefold approach or threefold teaching, a threefold understanding of gaining the Atma Jnanam. So let us just recall that once again. Agre Guru Pratitir Durat Gudadarshanam Yadvat Atma Pratitir Asmat Gudabhakshanajam Sukham Yadvat. So in the previous verse, actually there is the analogy of searching of the sadhaka or the person desirous for having a sweet, that is here jaggery for instance, searching for a plant or searching for a place where jaggery is available, just like the sadhaka is searching for the place where Atma Jnanam or Brahman Jnanam is available. Like that, an analogy was mentioned. So following that analogy, three stages of knowing the Atman was told by Bhagavad Pada here. So the first stage was understanding that there is in fact a place where the sweet is available. That is the role of the Shastra. Shastra informs us that there is in fact Brahmajnanam through which the Atyantika Dukkha Nivrittihi and Niratishaya Sukha Prapti can be obtained. So through which the eternal joy, eternal happiness can be attained and the complete destruction of sorrow happens. Such a Atma Jnanam is available, such an Atma is available, such a Brahman is available, by knowing which the samsara can be destroyed. This information, this knowledge is gained by studying the Shastra. Then one, when encounters the Guru, one takes Sharanagati under the Guru and listens to his teaching. Then one understands that you know where the sweet is. There is a sweet, someone told, Shastra told. Then where is it available? How to approach it? That Guru is going to tell. Right. In the same way, what is the Atman? What is its real nature? And what you have to do or how you have to think in a way that you can understand the self, you can know the self. In that way, the Guru's teaching is constructed. Right? But the actual sadhana itself has to be done, of course, by oneself. That is where the third thing comes. This is Atma Pratitihi. So this is the process of undertaking that vichara by oneself, by one's own effort, undertaking the Atma Vichara, by which one can really know and abide in the self. So this is like taking the journey. I know where sweet is available. I know where the jaggery is available. So towards that place I go and I have to walk or I have to put my own effort to travel to that place and take that sweet, take that jaggery and put it in my mouth and enjoy. So these are all the things which I have to do. Nobody else, if somebody else can say where it is available, right? Shastra can say such a thing is available. Guru will say where it is available, how to approach. But the effort of approaching and eating the jaggery that oneself has to do in the same way, the Atma Vichara is something to be done by oneself. It cannot, that effort cannot be put by somebody else, including the Guru. One has to do it oneself only. So by doing that, one can understand what the real nature of oneself is and abide in this real nature. When one abides in this real nature, one understands the real nature of the self, then naturally Sukha follows. Naturally, the eternal happiness, the pleased self, the real nature of the self, which is nothing but Ananda, that is comes into one's experience or anubhava. This is the message which was told by Bhagavad Pada. Now he will continue. So in the next few verses, actually, so as the title of the chapter goes, this is Atma Siddhi Prakaranam. So Bhagavad Pada is telling the sadhaka, telling the Shishya who is listening to this scripture how to recognize the real nature of oneself. How to recognize the real nature of oneself. So here, normally, if we ask any person, who are you? That question is asked. Normally, the answer comes, I am so and so individual. And all this description that one may give about oneself, the biodata that one gives about oneself, that I was born in such and such family, and I grew up in such and such place. I studied these kinds of disciplines in my life. I had this kind of education in my life, educational qualifications I list. Then I talk something about my relationship with other people in the world. This is my father, such and such is my mother, and this is my family, this is my wife or children, husband, etc., etc. All these relationships are spoken about. And sometimes one's employment are spoken about. This is the natural biodata which the individual gives as a response to the question, I am so and so. Mm. There could be other things also, like for instance, I am so much tall. I'm this much height. My height is so much. My weight is so much. I have these many issues with me, and I am worried. I am sick. All these things can also be given as descriptions depending on when the question is asked. When the question is asked, this question about how are you or who are you is asked, all these descriptions also may be provided. Now, the point which Bhagavad Padar and the Shastra is trying to make is that these descriptions or biodata which one gives about oneself, all of these things have to be concerned, are generally concerned only with the body and the mind. Body, mind, and sense organs, one may say. So this body, mind, sense organ complex. The complex of body, mind, sense organs is the entity, is the collection of entities with which the word I is associated. I am so much tall. I am having so much weight. I am of so much weight, and I was born in some place. These are my parents. These are my family members. All these things have to do with the body only. The identity which I build, which is connected to the body, that identity is taken as my own identity. Hmm. Right. In the same way, I had this kind of education, and I know so many things, and I don't know so many things. I am worried, I am intelligent, I am clever, I have so many things to do, etc., etc. These have to do with the mind. So like this, every one of the details which one gives as a response to the question, as a response to the question, who are you, has to deal with the body mind sense complex only. So the idea of the Shastra is to point out that the body mind complex is not the real nature of the self, but there is this shining light, there is this pure consciousness principle which is existing beyond the level or beyond the recognition of the body, beyond the recognition of the mind. There is this entity called Atman, there is this. Uh, shining light of consciousness, the consciousness principle called the self, which is present, and the self or the consciousness is the real nature of oneself. So this is what the methodology of pointing out what the real nature of the self is. That particular technique is followed here. Essentially, this is taken from the Upanishads, so there is no doubt about that, that this kind of vichara, whatever the few verses that Bhagavad Gita is presenting here, is essentially taken from the Upanishads indeed. Right? So now with this background, let us continue to read the verse. Rasagandha Rupa Shabda Sparsha Anye Padarthascha Kasmadabhuyante No Dehan Nendriya Gramat. So what is a certain um, question is being asked in the first 1.5 shlokas. This is a shloka with 2 verses. The first 1.5 verses, a question is being asked, and immediately an answer is being given. And the explanation for that answer will continue in the next few verses. So, what is the question? Rasa, Gandha, Rupa, Sparsha, Shabda. So, these are the 5 senses, right? These are the 5 sense objects actually. So, Rasa is taste. Gandha is smell, Rupa is form and color, Shabda is the sound, and Sparsha is the touch. So these senses, these sense objects, Anye padarthascha. So of course the external worldly objects, including that, or you can also include the internal worldly, internal objects such as the anger, the various emotions and feelings and thoughts, etc. These are also recognized just like the external world is recognized, right? So all these objects which pervade my mind, these recognitions of these objects which permeate my mind, how is this recognized or how are these experienced? Because of what entity are these experiences happening? Kasmad anubhuyante. How is this recognition or how are these experiences occurring? Due to what reason? Because of what are these experiences occurring? That is the question. So this is the first 1.5 verses discussing this question. Because of what are the sense organs recognized? So now the answer is being given one by one, bringing up our usual understanding and negating them. What is our usual understanding? These are recognized because of the existence of the body, one person says. See, I have a body, so therefore I am able to have the sense of touch, have the sense of taste, have the sense of sight, etc. All these senses and all the objects I am able to experience because of the existence of the body only. The body alone is the cause of experience. If the body is not there, then experiences will not be there. If the body is there, only then the experiences are there. So this is one answer which is given by someone, that someone is ourself only. That someone is ourself only. Ourself in a clouded thinking. When we are not thinking straight, then we ourselves give this answer. It is not only an empty statement, it is also our regular experience. For our body alone, we give the maximum importance. Whenever we give the maximum importance for our body, we are highlighting that the body is I, and because of me only, because of this body only, everything is possible. So therefore body is most supreme. Anybody who praises the body, this particular body, that those people I like. Anybody who hates this body, those people I don't like. So like this, the preservation and maintenance and the development of the pleasures of the body are the ones which are given the maximum importance. So this person is ourselves, right? So we have such thoughts in us, and that is why we function in the world in that particular manner, uh, giving our body undue importance than what is required. So therefore, Bhagavad Padal and Shastra is pointing out that this is not the case, that the body is not the central thing, which is the real reason of all these perceptions itself. There is something which is beside the body, which perceives, because of which perception happens. So, what is the first rejection? No dehat. It is not because of the body that the perception is happening. Body is there, some connection with the perception is there, no doubt. But the reasoning which was given, that when the body is there, perception happens. When the body is not there, perception doesn't happen. Therefore, body is the reason. That reasoning is not, therefore, body is the cause for perception. That reasoning is not correct. Why it is not correct will be told in the next verse. What is the next stage of understanding, or what is the next stage of misunderstanding? Indriya Gramat, because of the existence of the sensory organs, the sensory mechanisms which are available in the Sukshma Sharira, which are available in the mind, which are connected to the mind. Because of this alone, the perception happens. This is the second stage of understanding. So here, the person says, okay, so it may be the case that the body, the physical gross body is not the main reason for perception, because without the physical body also perception may be possible. Like for instance, when we are dreaming, the physical body is not there, there is a dreamed body and various perceptions are happening. Is it because of the physical body that the dream perceptions are happening? No, it is because of the Shukshma Shariram, etc. And the Indriya. So some people have a good body. Their Golakas, that is the sense, the physical organs, which are the sense organs, are perfect. There is no problem in them. The eyes are, uh, the eye, if you examine the eyes, they are fine. There is no issue with the eyes themselves, but still the person is not able to see. He is not able to see clearly. Some issue is there. Or the physical organ of ears seems to be fine. There is no issue. But when you examine and ask questions to that person, the person is not able to hear. Why the person is not able to hear in spite of the body being not having any issue? So then the situation or the reasoning which was given before, that deha, when the deha is there without any issue, perception happens. When deha is not there, perception doesn't happen. That statement is rejected. But when the indriya is proper, indriya is referring not to the physical sensory sense organ, not the actual ears that we are perceiving, not the eyes that we are having, physical eyes, but something which is more subtle, this power of sight, the power of hearing, the power of sensing touch, the power of sensing taste. This power which is available and acting through the sense organs, acting through the physical organs to sense the objects, that power is the reason for perceiving the various kinds of sense objects. Like that, another person is answering the question. Which question? Because of what perception happens? That question. So what is the answer? It is not because of the body, I agree, but it is because of the power of sensing, the indriyas. This power of sensing is called indriyas in the Shastra. Because of these indriyas only, the sensory perceptions are happening. So indriyas. So is that the reason of perception? Again, the response comes from Bhagavad na no indriya kramat. Not because of all the sensory powers of perception. It is not because of them that perception actually happens. So again, reasoning for why this is the case is provided in the next verses. Now the reasoning is given for rejecting the deha and indriyas. So what is the reason? Mrita dehendriya vargo yato na janati dahajam dukkham pranaschain taskara badhan sakim vetti. Mrita dehendriya vargaha yato na janati dahajam dukkham. So one reasoning is provided for why it is not the sense organs, nor it is the body which has the reason of perception. Why? Because when the body is dead, when the person has left the body, this is how we say in our dharma, the person leaves the body, right? The body is dead. When the body is dead, Nritadehe, in the dead body, Indriya Vargo. So the Indriyas have also left the body. They are not continuing to be with the body. Nritadehe Indriya Vargo Yato na janati tahajam dukkham. When the dead body is placed on the fire and burnt, this is how the disposal of the physical body after the person has left the physical body in the samskara is being done. This is what is done. The person, the body is put on the pyre, the funeral pyre, and it is lit, and the body is returned back into the elements, into the physical elements. When this thing happens, the body is burning and the indriyas are unavailable. The indriyas are not responding to the heat which is produced. The body is available. The golakas, the sense organs seem to be available. The ears are there, the nose is there, everything is there. They don't have any problem. But the person has left the body, and therefore the body is not responding to the heat of the burning fire. The sense of heat is causing light. Heat has a strong effect on the skin. Heat has a strong effect on the nose, etc. All the sense organs are being affected by the heat which is produced by the funeral fire, but the sense organs don't seem to respond. They are not responding. The body is not responding. Why? Because the jiva has left the body. This is the thing. So the person has left the body. Therefore, the body and the indriyas are not the reason for perception really. There is something beyond this. Okay. So next stage, another person is saying pranaha. So the reason could be prana. Prana is the breath which is continuously present within the body as long as the person is alive. So the breath which is there, the prana, the shakti, prana shakti which is present, because of this only the uh, the perceptions happen. So this is also being rejected by Acharya. Pranaschet nidrayam taskarabadham chasa kim veti. So if you say it is prana, pranaschet nidrayam taskarabadham sa kim veti. So if you say it is prana, this prana is present throughout the life, no doubt. But during sleep also, during your deep dreamless sleep also, it is present. During nidra, it is present. When the person is sleeping, it is there. But when the person is sleeping, prana is there. But the things which are happening around the person is not recognized by that prana. For example, if a thief comes and steals some object in the house when you are sleeping, will you recognize? Recognition is not there. So therefore, when prana is available during sleep also. It is not like when this person is sleeping, prana has left the body. Prana leaves the body only when the during the time of death. Right? So when prana is still going through the body, it is very much active. Breathing continues during the sleep. In spite of the existence of the prana, taskara badham sakim veti kim. So he's asking a rhetorical question. So if the thief comes, is the prana able to note the existence of the thief? Is note the activities of the thief during sleep? In spite of it being active, it is not able to note. So therefore, there is the prana is not the cause for uh, knowledge or perception. So prana cannot say when the something is there, the perception should happen. When something is not available, the perception should not happen. Only then we say that is the reason for perception. That is the core reason for perception. But here prana is there, perception is not happening. So therefore, we cannot say prana is the reason for perception. Very good. Now let's go to next stage, next verse. 92. Manaso yedi va vishayastat yugapat kim na janati tasya paradhinatvat yatah pramadasya kastrata. So now the stage, the last stage of erroneous understanding is presented. What is this erroneous understanding? Manasaha, manas. So manaso yedi. So the person is saying it can be the mind. It can be the mind which is the real reason for perception. Right? The mind is the, yeah, prana, I agree, it is not the reason. Deha or Indriya, I agree, they are not the reasons for perception. But what is the real reason for perception? It is the mind. When the mind is there, perception is happening. When mind is not there, perception is not happening. So mind is the cause for perception. Okay, so now here reasoning is interesting. Reasoning is provided. Suppose you say that is the case. Yedi manasaha, yedi manaso va. So then, if you suggest that it is the mind which is the reason, then scenario arises. What is the scenario or a question arises? What is the question? Vishaya tad yugapat kim na janati. See, there are many things which are available for the mind to perceive at any point of time. Every one of the sense organs are available, the sensory inputs are available to the mind, and the same eyes are seeing many things. The sense of touch can feel many things in different parts. The sense of perception. But if you ask a person at any point of time, what is it that you are experiencing? You raise a question, or you raise a question to yourself at this instance, what is it that I am perceiving or I am experiencing? If you ask that question, the answer will not be everything around me I am experiencing, but a particular answer will come. If I am having a sweet, then I will say I am eating this sweet. This sweet is tasting very nice. During the time of enjoying the sweet, the sensory, the eyesight, what you are seeing is not, even though that is available, that is not being focused upon. See, the mind is available, the sensory objects are available. So when all of the sensory objects are available, still only a particular thing is being focused upon. The reason why this is happening, if you ask the question, it must be the reason. So the reason is being suggested in the verse that there must be another entity who is controlling the mind, who is directing the mind, who is using the mind as an instrument, that you go and enjoy or experience this particular thing now, in spite of so many things available around you. At this instant, focus on this thing. Like that, somebody is directing the mind from behind, using the mind as an instrument from behind to catch hold of that particular perception at in that particular instance, and therefore only experience that particular perception at that particular instant, or at any particular instant. One perception for any particular instant. At any particular instant, one mind will think only one thought. It cannot think five thoughts at the same instant of time. If you go through many instances, there could be many thoughts which come simultaneously, one by one, sequentially. But simultaneously, I am thinking five thoughts is not possible. Only one thought goes in the mind at any instant. That particular focus, directivity, using the mind as an instrument, that capability is provided by another entity which is should be different from the mind. Therefore, the mind cannot be the real reason behind perception. So beautiful reasoning is being given here. Let us read. Vishayas tat yugapat kim na janati. This yugapat kim na janati means, why doesn't the mind know everything at once? All the perceptions, all the objects around Vishayaha, yugapat kim. Yugapat means immediately, simultaneously, at the same time. Janati na janati kim. Why doesn't it know? Rhetorical question. It is not knowing. So rhetorical question is being asked. Mind is available. Sense organs, sensory objects are available. Why not the perception of everything happened at the same time? Why is there focused perception as though somebody else is directing the mind? Tasya paradhinatvat. Because somebody else is directing the mind, somebody else is using it as an instrument. Ataha pramadasya kastrata. Who is responsible for this loss of attention from other things? Only one thing is being focused, so therefore, with respect to other things, there is loss of attention. Who is responsible for that? Who is making the mind into a directed instrument, a pointed instrument? That has to be more deeper than the mind. This is the idea. So now, without answering the question which is raised, who is that controller? the supreme controller of the mind, who is that entity, without directly answering that question, the Bhagavad Padal is going into another analogy, which is going to tell us the nature of the Atman. Gadhadvanta grihantataha kshititale deepam nidhayojvalam panchachidram adhomukham hi kalasham tasyopari sthapayet tat bahye paritonurandhram amalam वीणां च कस्तूरिकां सद्रत्नं व्यजनं न्यसेत् च कलशश्छिद्राद्व निर्गच्छताम्. Because read the next one also. तेजोंशेण पृथक् पदार्थ निवह ज्ञानं हि यज्जायते तद्रन्ध्रैः कलशेन वा किमु मृदो बाण्ढेन तैलेन वा किं सूत्रेण च चैतदस्ति रुचिरं प्रत्यक्ष बाधागतो दीपज्योतिरिहैकमेव शरणं देहे तथात्मा स्थितः. So in these two beautiful verses, this analogy is a very famous analogy. It has been used in many places in the Shastra. With these beautiful verses, Bhagavad Patal is revealing the nature of the self. So one has to use this analogy to understand the nature of the self. What is this? So imagine. So now you keep that previous question in the mind. Something is there which is there behind the mind, through which the perception actually happens. The real reason for the perception, that is the Atma, which is going to be told via these verses. What is the verse? Gadhadvanta grihantataha. So the analogy is talking about in a dark room, in a dark house, there is a lamp which is placed on the floor in the center of the house. That lamp is being placed within a pot which is kept inverted. So a pot is like this, an opening on the top, closed thing on the bottom. Now you imagine that on the center of that pot, or on the floor, we keep one lamp, and then we invert the pot so that the opening of the pot comes down, and using that opening, we close that lamp. So if you close the lamp and don't have any holes in the pot, soon the lamp will die out because of lack of oxygen in the atmosphere, around its immediate atmosphere. So therefore, what we do, we cut openings in the surface of the pot and then invert it. So this is the scenario you have to imagine. Inverted pot is kept on the floor. Inside that inverted pot, there is a lamp, and on the surface of the inverted pot, on the pot itself, there are many holes which are kept. So imagine this. Now reading the verse, Gadhadvanta grihantataha. So within the dark, darkness-filled house, Gadhadvanta means the very deep darkness, blinding darkness. In the blinding darkness, inside the house, grihantataha, kshititale, on the floor, on the earth, on the earthen floor, deepam Ujwalam Deepam Nidhaya. Ujwalam Deepam Nidhaya. So keep a lamp on the floor somewhere in the house. Let's say, imagine in the middle of a room. Keep a lamp which is Ujwalam, which is in which sufficient oil is put, a wick is put, a cotton wick or something is put, and then it has been lit and it is burning brightly, shining brightly. The light of the lamp is shining very brightly. Keep it in the middle of the house. Nidhaya panchachidham adhomukham hi kalasham tasya upari sthapayet. Keep it in the middle of the house. Then you take a kalasham, a pot, which is adhomukham, inverted. The opening comes down, the curve of the pot, the body of the pot is coming up. Adhomukham panchachidram means it is having 5 holes. Now you see this 5 where this number is coming from. the sense organs, connected to the sense organs. So over the lamp, we are keeping this the earthen pot with 5 holes in an inverted manner and close this lamp. Tasya upari sthapayet. Now outside the pot, tat bahye paritaha, surrounding the pot, anurandham amalam. So we keep many items. What are the items? Amalam, that amalaka. So the gooseberry is kept outside. Veena, one beautiful instrument. Veena is kept outside. Kasturikam, when this kasturika is kept outside. Sadratnam, Sadratnam Vyajanam. So this beautiful studded fan, uh, the olden type of fan, which is the handheld fan, that is kept outside. We just started with many gems, etc. Uh, then Nyaset means keep them outside. Kalashas Chidradva, Kalashaha Chidradva Nirgachatam. So through the openings which are present inside the on the surface of the pot, the light is going outside and illumining these objects which are kept outside, it seems. So what are the objects? Amalam, Kasturikam, Beenam, Sadratnam, Vyajanam, the gems and the studded fan, etc. Nyaset, keeping them outside and illumining them via the holes which are coming, which are on the surface of the pot. The light is illumining all of these things which are there around. Imagine this scenario. Tejomshena prithak padartha nivah jnanam hi yajjayate. So Teja is the light, right? So Amshena. So through the rays of light which are coming out of these 5 holes, Prithak. So the same light which is there inside is coming out of the 5 holes in 5 beams. 5 beams of light. Padartha Nivaha Jnanam. So the different padarthas are being illumined by them simultaneously. Uh, Yet jayate. So in this way, the illumination happens. What is it because of? What is the real reason for this illumination? That is the question. Why this question is being asked here? This analogy connected with the previous discussion about the body, the sense organs, the prana, the mind, etc. So the body is analogous to the earthen part, the sense organs, and the mind, the prana, etc. is going to be, there is going to be sufficient analogies here in this. The indriyas are analogous to the 5 holes which are there in the pot. Then you can say the prana and the mind, etc. are going to be analogous to the body of the lamp which is kept inside, the earthen lamp which is kept inside, the oil which is put there, the cotton wick, etc. All of these things are not the real reason for illumination of the objects. The real reason of the illumination of these objects are the light which is coming out of the lamp, the lamp's light. That light is the real reason. All of these are only facilitating the perception. The real reason, the real entity who is responsible for the perception is the light itself. That light is analogous to the Atman. That is the message which Bhagavad Pada wants to convey. So let us read. Tad Randhaihi Kalashenava. So is it because of the Randhai? Randhaihi means the holes which are there on the pot. Because of the holes that illumination is happening. Some person will agree, yes. Because the holes are there, light is coming out through them. Therefore, the illumination is happening. But you see, if the lamp is extinguished, the presence of the holes do not cause any illumination, right? So the holes themselves cannot be said to be the reason for illuminating. It has to be the lamp which is the real reason for illuminating. Because if the lamp is, as long as the lamp is lit, the light which is coming out of the lamp is active, that light is the cause for illumination. When the light is extinguished, then the illumination stops. So therefore, we cannot say the holes are the reason for illumination. Similarly, we cannot say the pot is the reason for illumination. Without the pot also, the illumination will happen. With the pot also, it can happen. So pot cannot be said as the reason for illumination. Kalashenava kimu. Kimu means or is it because of mrudo bhandena tailena va? Is it because of uh, the uh, the lamp which is there, the mruda bhandha? So this is the earthen lamp which is lit within the pot. Is it because of that earthen lamp? The body of the earthen lamp is not responsible for the illumination. The light which is there, the lamp's light is the cause for the illumination. The lamp's light illumines the structure of the lamp also. It illumines, it shows that the lamp is there, the oil is there, the wick is there, the pot is there, the holes in the pot are there, as well as the objects which are there outside. All of these things are shown by the light of the lamp only. So the earthen lamp itself is not the cause for illumination. Mrudo bhandena tailenava, neither the oil is the cause for the illumination. Because if the oil is there and then we extinguish the light, then also there is no illumination. Kim sutrena, is it because of the wick, the thread which is which is lit? Is it because of that wick or thread because of which the illumination happens? That also is not true, because the thread may be there. If the lamp is the fire is extinguished, then also there is no illumination. Na cha etadasti ruchiram pratyaksha. Na cha etadasti ruchiram. What does it mean? All of these are not desirable answers. They are not the correct answers we are looking for, because pratyaksha badhadato. Pratyaksha badad means what? Because this is violating the simple perception that we can see from as a third party observer to this entire event. So the person who is sitting there and watching this earthen pot within which the lamp is there and the light coming out and showing all of these things, it is very naturally evident to that person that because of the light only the things are being perceived, not because of the earthen pot, not because of the holes, not because of the lamp, not because of the wick. Hmm? None of these things are the reason for perception to happen. It is the light which causes the perception to happen. It is the light which illumines the objects which are there in the house, not any of these objects themselves, not any of these pot or blah blah other items which are there associated to that pot or within that pot. The light which is there within the pot is the cause for perception. That is the correct answer. So all these other answers which are wrong, they violate the very simple uh, uh, pratyaksha pramana, very simple observationary power of the person who is observing. Pratyaksha badhat. So by simple perception, the wrong nature of these answers are evident to the individual. Therefore, ataha deepajyotir deepajyotihi इह एकमेव sharanam. What is the real reason? Deepa Jyotihi. The light of the lamp is the only real reason for perception. Therefore, this only is the correct answer. Ekameva Sharanam. There is no other secondary entity who is responsible for the perception. So this is the correct answer in that analogy. In the same way, within the Deha, which is like the pot, which is having the 5 holes through which the light can flow, like the sense organs, which is having the mind, the prana, etc., which are like the lamp and the wick and the oil, which are there. All of these things are there, but all of these things are not the reason for perception. Dehe tathatma sthitaha. Dehe tathatma sthitaha. So, dehe tatha, in the same way, Dehe, in the body, within the body, the Atma is situated. The Atma is to be recognized within the body as the real perceiver, as the real witness, as the real reason for all perception to happen. This is the message. So, this real witness, this real knower, recognize the real knower to be the self. That is the teaching. So, what is the nature of this knower? The nature of the knower is to know. That's all. The nature of the witness is to witness. So, who am I? I am not body. I am not mind. I am not the sense organs. I am not the prana. I am not buddhi. I am not ahankara. I am the knower. I am the one who knows all these things as existing. Mind is there, body is there, prana is there, sense organs are there, objects are also there. Everything comes under the category of witnessed things: mind, body, sense organs, prana, external objects. All of these things are witnessed entities, whereas I am there, who is the witnessing entity. I am that witnessing entity. I am the knower. I am the witness. I know all these things are known. Mind, body, etc. All these things are known with a N at the end. And I am the real knower. I am the know. I am the one who knows. I am the witness. All the other things are witnessed. So this real witness, the real Sakshi, is called Atma. Atma is a word given to the Sakshi, one can say. So if you recognize yourself as the real witness, then you recognize yourself as in your true nature. That real nature of yourself is given a name in Shastra, which is called Atma. I know my Atma is a wrong way to say. How can you know yourself? You can know what your real nature is, but the real nature can never become an object. It remains the subject or it remains the witness. That is the whole discussion here. The lamp, the light of the lamp cannot know itself. Correct? The light of the lamp need not illumine itself also. It is self-illumining by its own nature. It is self-illumining. It is not required for the Atma to come out as an object which is then to be illumined. I am the witness who knows everything, all the other things in the world, including the body mind complex. So, therefore, this real witness I am, that is then Atman. That is what I am. So, recognize the Atman as different from the body, different from the prana, different from the sense organs, different from the mind, different from the buddhi, ahankara, and understand it as oneself who is the witness. This witness, this Sakshi, is situated as though situated. It appears to be situated. It appears to be having an experience through this particular body. Let it continue to have. You recognize that you are not the body. You are having an experience through the body. You are witnessing certain things through the body. Continue to do that, no problem, right? But you remain as yourself. Don't confuse yourself with the body. Don't confuse yourself with the mind. Don't confuse yourself with sense organs. All of these things are temporary. They are not everlasting. They are changing entities. They are witnessed entities. Therefore, they are not you. With this, this is the message which is to be gained from this prakaranam. With this, we come to the end of this prakaranam. In the next class, in the next meeting, we will continue with the next prakaranam. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Hari Om.